let's be honest, if you're a white guy that's cruised through Tinder, then you've seen many a woman whose entire personality revolves around The Office. You know, that incredibly overrated show that for some reason women everywhere seem to adore and keep on repeat on Netflix constantly in their frankly quite boringly furnished apartments. Well, did you guys know that you're gonna have to go through that all over again, especially if you live in Australia? So, g'day, mate. That's right, welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and The Office is getting an Australian remake, but with a twist. It stars a woman as the manager, because that's what was missing before. Let's take a look at this article and see what it really entails, shall we? The Office is getting a female-led remake in Australia. It's the first ever female-led version of The Office. That's right, it's their third attempt, and you know what they say, third time's the charm. It's not like the original with the incredibly funny Ricky Gervais was good enough. No. Then they had to remake it, the American version, because American remakes are always so much better, aren't they?
No, God! No! God, please, no!
But hey, I'm sure doing it a third time with a female lead will be just as classic as the original two. I mean, what could go wrong? This is coming out of the country that, you know, effectively has concentration camps for those that didn't get the vaccine. I'm sure there won't be any sort of politically correct humor at all, unlike those awful, raunchy daytime sitcoms. The Office is making a comeback in Australia with the first ever female-led version of the show. I love how it keeps, talking about how it's female-led as if that's so crazy and progressive and incredible. You guys know we've had female-led television and movies for, I don't know, since the beginning of television and movies. What makes it so special that The Office is now being led by a female? At this point, I understand when they go through like, oh, it's the first Black Asian woman of color to star in a TV show. Like, yeah, you're really reaching for the first, but hey, technically, it is the first. This isn't even anything special. She's still white if we look at her picture. It's really strange that they're talking about this like it's some great diversity leap when white women everywhere have very much been in a lot of roles in Hollywood for a long time. If anything, I think this version of the show will be more annoying than the other two because, well, what is more annoying than a liberal white woman? Reported by Deadline, Prime Video Australia has ordered a remake of The Office, and it's set to premiere in 2024. Stand-up comedian Felicity Ward is slated for the lead role in the series, where she'll play Hannah Howard, manager of a packaging company, Flinley Craddock. It sounds more British than Australian, but then again, I guess, Australia is just the criminals of Britain, several generations removed, so I guess it makes sense as to why it sounds British. Also, I've never heard of Felicity Ward. Let's take a look at her and see if she's done anything of note. Well, here we are on Google, and, alright, there's a Wikipedia page, and her Twitter. We might check out both those. Some top stories all about The Office. FelicitywArd.com. And so, does she not even have an IMDb page? Okay, here it is, IMDb. Let's take a look. Known for The In-Betweeners 2, 6.4. Any Questions for Ben, a 5.6. The Ronnie Johns Half Hour. Okay. 8 stars. That might be the only thing she's been in that has any sort of, critical acclaim to it. Sleuth 101, a very middling 7.4. Is this it? Is this all she's known for? Okay, here's a little bit more. The Mind of Herbert Clunkerdunk. Yeah, she's been in one episode in 2022. That's a very Australian name. Late Night Match, Wakefield. Was she in anything that anyone's ever heard of? No, this is her entire filmography. Sorry, a Steve Carell or Ricky Gervais. This woman clearly is not. Alright, so here's her Twitter page. Let's see what insufferable things she posts. Oh wait, is it London, England? Maybe she's Australian but lives in London? I would think that you'd want a native Australian for your role. Speaking of which, why not get an actual native, like, Aboriginal Australian? I thought you guys loved diversity. Whatever, let's see what cringe she's posted in the past. I will say, though, I'll give props, no pronouns in her bios, it looks like, so that's something. We got a video doorbell to see if any burglars were trying to break into our house. No burglars, but I'm very across the comings and goings of the neighborhood cats. Alright, so this woman says she's a comedian. I don't really see anything that's comical about this. In fact, it's just a regular, everyday observation I would think that someone who thinks they're funny would make, but maybe it was a miss. Let's keep going. And it looks like she retweeted, "Today we stand in solidarity with the thousands of nurses who are back on picket lines across the country. Junior doctors see the hard work, professionalism, and dedication of nurses every day. Fair pay should be a bare minimum. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the pay in nursing, but I will say it's a very, very common job for women that sucked a lot of dick in high school. So, I'm sure what they're getting paid is absolutely worth it. But hey, I don't know. Maybe that girl Casey can fill me in. I could be way off base. Also, again, not a whole lot of diversity here. Seems like a lot of white women, minus their one tokenized individual here. Also, where are the males? I thought male nurses were a thing. I bought a leather jacket, and that's my personality now. That's literally a Family Guy joke, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe Family Guy did it about mustaches. Either way, you're ripping off a far funnier and more talented, successful individual, so good job, Felicity. Looks like she also retweeted this. We've decided drag is bad, therefore drag is whatever we say it is, and this definition includes anything we don't like. It's exactly how we ended up with critical race theory, becoming a blanket right-wing term, just like any time a black person says words. She also retweeted from the same individual. Listen, all the "it doesn't count as drag if it's" thing that is obviously drag is of course very silly, but at heart, bad thing is moving target with rules we can change at will because words don't have concrete meanings, only vibes. Is actually so dangerous and terrifying. That made my brain break. What did that even mean? I felt like I had a stroke reading that. Maybe it's due to a lack of proper punctuation or anything to that effect, but Jesus. Alright, so we know the type of woman this individual is, and that's all I wanted to set out to prove. Let's go back to the article. The series will have a remote work spin, an Australian version of The Office when no one is allowed to leave their house under threat of gunpoint, well, probably not gunpoint because Australia doesn't have guns, but, threat of arrest and incarceration. Yeah, that's not a shock at all. As Howard tries to keep her work family together after learning that corporate plans to shut down her branch and move everyone to at-home setups. Alongside Ward, the rest of the cast includes Edith Poor, and probably what you're going to end up after this here television show, because I guarantee you it's not going to be much of a success. Steen Raskopoulos, Shari Sebens, Josh Thompson, Johnny Bruh, Pallavi Sharada, Susan Ling Young, Raj Labib, Lucy Schmidt, and Faraz Durrani. So basically a lot of nobodies. I mean, not that The Office exactly starred a lot of famous individuals aside from Steve Carell. They all kind of grew into their fame, like John Krasinski and, unfortunately, Mindy Kaling.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
But it still begs the question, who is this for? I mean, why is IGN reporting on this when I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of interest in it? I mean, it's going to end up like Star Wars, and that people just aren't going to care. Too much time has passed, and what they're giving will be a diluted, crappy version that's trying to recapture the magic of the originals, but with all the modern-day sensibilities that anyone with a brain hates. This is the first time in The Office mini iterations. Really? Mini? I thought there were only like 2. At least only 2 of note. Mini iterations? Come on now, IGN. That a woman will play the lead role. Here we are, talking about how she's a woman like that's such a big deal again. The manager role was originally made famous by Ricky Gervais, David Brent, and the most famous iteration is Steve Carell's Michael Scott. Yeah, even here you only list 2. What do you mean mini iterations? Mini is like 4 to 5 or more. It really shouldn't be that hard for a journalist for IGN to get something as simple as the number 2 correct in an article, but I guess maybe that is asking a lot from IGN. The US version of The Office ended back in 2013, and there have been talks of a reboot. Last year, The Office creator, Greg Daniels, compared his reboot idea to The Mandalorian. Well, I made a Star Wars comparison earlier, and I guess I hit the nail on the damn head. Everybody, give me props, I am your god. Saying it would be an extension of the universe. So it's not even really a reboot, it's a spin-off that I'm sure is still going to be called The Office because there's brand and name recognition there. Wow. Did any of you guys want an Office spin-off, especially an Australian Office spin-off? I'm sure one of their biggest controversies for an episode is going to be how they can't come, to some sort of like corporate barbecue since it's all work from home. They can't get together to enjoy shrimp on the barbie. Lately, fans have only had Easter eggs and product tie-ins to keep their fandom going, with an official chili cookbook from Kevin, a nod to the show in The Last of Us Part 1, and a Lego set. For more, check out 25 best episodes of The Office. I will not be checking that out for, I'm sure, reasons you guys can tell. So yeah, is it really a big deal that there's going to be another version of The Office out there? No, not really. I mean, for those that like The Office, you're probably going to get more of the same, except for worse. But, the real reason I wanted to highlight this was because they're making such a big deal out of the fact that it's a female lead. And not only that, a female lead in Australia, one of the most progressive countries out there. Yeah, progressive. I think you mean aggressive in terms of, their aggressive COVID lockdown situation and the way they handle any sort of, COVID COVID misinformation, you know, even if it's experts speaking in the field that they're trying to silence. But yeah, let's go ahead and forget all that and just praise the diversity of having a liberal white woman as the main lead in your show, as if that hasn't been at least common practice since like 2016. What are they hoping to do that's any different here, especially any better than what was done in the British or even the American versions? I can't believe something is about to make an American remake look incredible. But whatever, those are just my opinions. I want to know yours though. Let me know in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter where you can find me at BoltTheWord. And please do subscribe. We are just shy of that 1,000 subscriber mark. I mean, I'm talking like less than 30 people away, so please be that 1,000 subscriber. Other than that, this is a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, not just about TV shows like The Office, you know, crappy TV shows like The Office, but also about movies, anime, video games, Magic the Gathering, you name it, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.